Keep pushing, let's keep going. In this video, I want to talk about resolving disputes when doing business over here in Africa. Look, business is business, and at the end of the day, disputes are something that are unavoidable. It doesn't matter where you are. You can be doing business in Dubai, Australia, UK, the US. As long as you're in disputes and there's money involved in anything, there's always going to be somebody that feels some type of way or somebody that does not agree with what's happening, and they're going to get mad, even if the situation's outside of your control. In the United States, people sue each other all the time. So you might be wondering, how do people resolve issues in Africa? How do they do that? Because there's no system similar to the US or the UK where you can just file a court order and sue somebody. But here in Africa, it's a little bit of a different game. Speaking from experience. Let me say this. Most of the time, the majority of the times that you'll have a dispute in business is because of somebody that is not understanding or is an outright hater. That's it. The truth is, people who are winning in life and in business do not have the energy, time, or even care in the world to block somebody else from winning. They don't. But there are some people here, it's not just in Africa, but there are just some people in business in general. Let me just say that, because I don't want to isolate this problem to Africa. There are just some people in general that don't like it when you are either about to do better than them or you're doing better than them. They don't like that. So there are a couple of things you got to avoid doing when you're coming to set up shop over here in Africa. You want to avoid relying on too many people. Do your very best, if you can, to rely on as few people as possible for whatever it is that you need to get done. Setting up the systems. For example, with this YouTube channel, instead of me hiring a whole crew of, camera guys and sound engineers and all this stuff, I have to figure all this stuff out by myself. The lighting, the setup, the mic, the whole studio thing. I had to build it all myself and set it up all myself. Because I can't rely on too many people. I can't. Because if I rely on too many people, there are problems that will come up. The number one source, of all your problems in life and in business come from other people. Think about it. Has a pen ever given you problems? No. Yeah, maybe the pen might not be able to write or whatever. Maybe it ran out of ink, but it's not going to really piss you off as much as a human being or give you problems as much as a human being. Human beings are the number one source of problems. There's some people whose lives are very chaotic, and as soon as they see that your life is moving in the right direction, they want to throw their chaos onto you. So this is why I say do your very best to do as much as possible on your own. And that way, you will not experience as many disputes in business. You experience fewer disputes, because at the end of the day, you'll never, and I mean this, you'll never be able to run a business without any disputes. There are always going to be disputes. Some are going to be big, some are going to be small. There's a reason why most people, when it comes to doing business and everything, I've noticed they would prefer to build their own store from scratch. Many people here do that. So instead of renting like a physical location, they'd rather build it. But of course, there are times where you have no choice but to rent a space for your business. And sometimes maybe your business might be slow. Things might slow down a little bit. And you might not be able to sustain that physical location. That's where disputes come in your business. Now, how do most people resolve this? Africa, for the most part, from what I've noticed from most of the countries that I've been, it's more of a mutual understanding that you're going to do right by me and I'm going to do right by you. And our reputation is the one that's going to hold this thing solid. Because the legal system is not as well, it's not as advanced, let's put it that way, as the other legal systems. So as soon as you start dealing with the legal system, somebody might pay somebody a bribe. I mean, the whole thing can be easily corrupted. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It does work. What I'm saying is that for the most part, the person that has the most money always wins. Most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. The person that has the most money more than likely will win the case. But it really depends on the type of people that are in the situation. From what I know, everybody's reputation is something they want to hold on to, they want to keep. So even those legal authorities, when they're having to deal with you, they also want to bring fairness to the game. So for their own reputation. Because if they don't bring fairness to the game, people are going to lose trust in the system. And they don't need that. They still need people to take them seriously. Because if everybody knows that, hey, every time there's a problem and I go to these people, nothing is done, then they're going to feel useless. So there is still some incentive for the legal, people, the legal authorities, to do things the right way. But it also depends on how solid you are as a person. If you're not a solid person, if you're not a solid human being, then they won't take you seriously. Which is why it's important to always be solid, to always be a trustworthy person, so that your reputation is intact. Because it's all about reputation over here. Let's say the one-on-one dispute does not work. Most of the time, people will escalate that to the police. And then once the police get involved, then, you know what I'm saying? Then you gotta deal with the police and go negotiate and go talk to them. And hope and pray that things will be worked out that way. So let's say there's a dispute about land. Maybe this person thinks this land should be theirs, this little portion of the land should be theirs, and there's a little bit of dispute there. They take it up to the police, and then the police can come and sit both people down and say, hey, listen, what's the real story here? And does the investigation. Because there's always three sides to every story. There's two sides and the truth. So you need a third party to get involved. That's really what the police is there for. And the good news is that as long as you are a solid person, your reputation is stellar, you always get out of the situation if you're a good person. You always get out. It's the same thing even in the West. For the most part, the legal system in the West, especially in America, if you don't have any priors, if you don't have any misdemeanors or felonies, and you come in front of a judge for like a civil case could be maybe you haven't paid a parking ticket, and then you don't have any felonies or prior misdemeanors and stuff like that. They would just give you a slap on the wrist, and maybe give you some time to pay the fine back or add fees on top of that. That's really how it works. So you get a second chance, is what I'm saying. It all depends on your reputation. Your reputation is everything in the West, and so is it over here in Africa. Your reputation is everything. I hope you got some value from this video. If you're interested in working with the best and navigating this amazing African market to make some money, and you want to start your business, maybe you don't know what niche you should be getting into, I'm going to be dropping a lot of content here, and you need a business coach, maybe. And you need somebody that can hold your hand, navigate this new environment that you're not used to. See, some of us already, we're OGs now. I've been in this game for a minute. So I'll be able to help you navigate some of the things that a lot of people will not tell you, maybe until it's too late. Schedule time. I'll put a link in the description. This is a paid consultation. This means that if you're serious about running a business, or maybe you're already running a business and you need to level up, you need to make more money, you need branding, because everybody's on this thing right here. So if you're not on this thing and you're in business here in Africa, you're leaving money on the table. This is money now. Money is right here on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. That's where the money is now. Schedule time. If you need help with all of that, paid consultation. Serious people only. Blessed.